But here we go. You know, she might have him crazy damage. Oh, here we go. Speaking of the other newbie, let's do it. Let's do it. We get a...
As the new expansion is just around the corner, a lot of people are eager to jump into new content. But what about all the stuff we're leaving behind in Dragonflight? As a mount collector, there's a ton of things you should consider doing before the War Within arrives, and in this video we'll go over every mount in Dragonflight you should get before the new expansion arrives. This is True Endgame, welcome to the video. As we start the video, keep in mind that we'll be going through every mount based on their respective sources, so we'll start with mounts we can get in the Azure Span. The first mount we'll talk about is going to be the Explorer Stonehide Pack Beast, which is purchased for 20,000 mysterious fragments purchased from Provisioner Arista here in Algethar Academy. The currency we'll need to buy these are gained from doing the Big Dig events. If you haven't unlocked it yet, we'll first have to complete a few introductory quests, and then we'll be eligible to join the event here in Betrayer's Rest in the Azure Span. And the event happens every hour on the half point of it. So for example, it'll start at 1:30 p.m. and the next one will be 2:30 p.m. and so on. Additionally, we have a chance of getting the Clay Scale Hornstrider, which has around a 1% drop chance from either finishing the Big Dig event or even can be looted from the tomes picked up during the Big Dig event. The drop chance will vary based on the source. So for example, the green tomes have a 0.2% drop chance while the purple ones have a 1.5%. And remember, there's no lockout on the chance of getting the mount, so we can redo the event as many times as we want within the day for our characters. The next mount we'll cover is the Highline Drake, and this is rewarded from the last chapter of the Azure Span storyline called Vakthros, and the quest that rewards you the mount is called Calling the Blue Dragons. The next mount we'll cover is the Liberated Slyvern, and this mount has a 2% drop chance from Breeze Biter. Fortunately, there's no loot lockout on the rare, so we can camp it for as much as we want. The rare is usually found here and it flies pretty high up in the sky in circles, so as a pro tip, I'd suggest pulling it near the mountain or the huge fallen tree nearby to fight it, and the rare has a 1 to 2 hour respawn timer. The next mount we'll talk about is the Temperamental Skyclaw mount. This will require us to turn over 3 kinds of meat to a vendor in order to get the mount. The meats in question are the Flash Frozen Meat, the Tuskar Jerky, and Nolan's House Special, and we'll need 20 of each kind. We'll have 2 options to get the meat. We can either just purchase them from the auction house or farm them ourselves from the knolls in the Azure Span. The Flash Frozen Meat drops from Snowhide Knolls in the middle of the Azure Span. Tuskar Jerky drops from the Darktooth Knolls over at the west side of the Azure Span, and Nolan's House Special drops from Stormfang Knolls further west of the Azure Span located here. Once we have all the meat, we'll trade them over at Zonwagi, who's near Brackenhide Hollow by the camp near the entrance of Zaralik Caverns. The next mount we'll talk about is going to be the Lingering Echo of Tarakgosa. This is a legendary mount that's locked behind caster classes who have obtained the legendary staff Dragonwrath Tarakgosa's Rest. With the staff in hand, our second requirement to getting the mount is completing the questline called the Veiled Ossuary, picked up from Kalecgos at the Seat of the Aspects in Veldraken. By the end of the storyline, we'll be able to pick up a Rhapsody in Blue, which will reward us the mount at the end. Take note that the mount itself is only usable by caster classes that have the legendary staff called Dragonwrath Tarakgosa's Rest. If you guys are interested in us covering the entire process of getting both the staff and the mount, let us know in the comments down below. The next 2 mounts we'll go over are going to be the Trader Autuks. These are the Ivory Traders Autuk and the Iskara Traders Autuk, which are both purchased from the vendor Tatukiaka. I hope I didn't butcher that, located here in Iskar. Well, we won't be buying them with currency. Instead, we'll trade them with rings and necklaces that drop from dungeons and raids. The first one we'll go over is the Ivory Traders Autuk, and this requires us to get 3 dungeon rings in exchange for the mount. So the rings in question are going to be the Platinum Star Band, which drops from Veximus in Algethar Academy, while the Thunderous Downburst ring drops from the Raging Tempest in the dungeon the Nokud Offensive. The third ring is going to be the Unstable Arcane Loop, and this will drop from Lamur in the Azure Vault dungeon. Now it's worth remembering that the Platinum Star Band from Veximus will also be rewarded from the quest the Algethar Academy, which we can pick up from Kalecgos at the Seat of the Aspects in Veldraken, and to complete it we'll just have to run the dungeon on any difficulty. Now take note, we don't have to get all 3 rings on the same difficulty, so if we get 1 ring from Heroic for example, and we get the other 2 in Normal or LFG, we'll still be able to get the mount, so disregard the difficulties and view them as additional attempts within the day for that character. As an optional method to queuing up for LFGs, we can do follower dungeons to queue up faster and go straight to the boss bosses that drop the rings and then leave. The second one we're gonna talk about is the Iskara Trader's Oath Took, and for this one we'll need to bring 2 raid necklaces, and similar for dungeons, the difficulty doesn't matter as well. The raid in question is the Vault of Incarnates. These necklaces are Taros' captive core and the Eye of Vengeful Hurricane. Since there's weekly lockouts for the raids, this will take some time to do, but at maximum we can do up to 4 times because we have LFRs, normals, heroics, and mythic difficulties we can run per week per character. It's also worth mentioning that we can get the necklaces from the Great Vault awarded after a week, but it's purely up to chance on whether or not the vaults will bless us with one of the necklaces. Once we have both necklaces, we'll trade them
in the background. Normally, it'd be difficult to carry a conversation with someone as a result of this background noise. But with NVIDIA's AI-powered noise removal, distracting sounds can be removed so you and your audience can hear loud and clear. You can test this feature by turning it on and off in the menu, or adjusting the strength of the effect.
Добре. Хубаво. Даваме NVIDIA Broadcast Webcam. Не излиза нищо. OBS. Така, значи трябва да го направим. Ето така. Добре, защо не иска да тръгва? Тук я показва, че тръгва. Баси майката, брато. Ето. Чакай сега. Да няма някакъв апдейт. Добре съм, Дюди. Аха. Не иска да тръгва камерата. Чакай. Не знам. Ехо, ехо, ехо. Ехо, ехо, ехо. Камерата бачка. В OBS-а не иска да бачка. Я да сложим тук. Ето. Добре.